So hey guys, so today I'll be walking you through the very famous question that you can see in stacks. So the name of the question is like next greater element. It might be, it is also known as the next nearest greater element as well. And the some of the variations of this question is like next smaller element, then nearest smaller element. There might be directions as well. For example, in the right direction you have to find, or in the left direction you have to find. So you'll be getting some ideas to solve these type of questions from this question itself. So what the problem statement says is you have been given an array. You just have to find the next greater element to its right. So for example, if you say, for example, this is the sample test case. So for one, the next greater element is 3, right? So just the next, it's not like you have to skip or something. So the next greater element is 3. So the answer will be 3. Then for the 3, for 3, oh, what is my next greater element? It's 4. So it's the 4. Then for 2 is the 4, that is the next greater element, right? So 4 is the answer. And at last, for 4, there is no next greater element, isn't it? So the answer will be -1. Okay. So there's a test case. I mean, that test case I have just copied here, and I have another test case as well. So we will discuss how to approach this. So typically, the brute force approach will be just running the first for loop from right to from. Okay, why it is okay? Yeah. So the brute force approach will be to go, the first for loop will be from right to left. We have to apply 2 for loops, and for each and every iteration, it will iterate from I plus 1 to last element. So for example, if my I loop is going from 0 to length, then my j loop will be depending upon I plus 1. That means my j will be pointing from this to this. It will iterate from this to this for I equal to 1, right? Then similarly, if my I is in the second phase, my J loop will be running from 2 and 4, right? So how can we solve this? So basically, in the brute force approach, you will be getting TLA, because in some cases. So what will happen is, in the worst case, you will not, if you are not getting any nearest greater element. For example, in the worst, I mean, in the worst case, what might be happening? So there is no nearest greater element. So for example, there is a test case that has descending order of numbers, right? So at that case, my J loop will be running again and again for every test case, isn't it? So this will give you a TLE in some cases. But how can we approach this problem without the brute force, with the help of stacks? Okay. So let's see how can we solve with the help of stacks. So what's the question basically? So we have to take a stack. So now every time for every test case, what I have to do is I have to check the right array, isn't it? So for example, if I am in the first position, my right array should be in the stack, and I should be getting my nearest greater from the stack, isn't it? So for example, in the first position, for example, I am comparing the for 1. So my right array, so for the comparison, my right array should be in the stack. But the twist is that we have learned about the LIFO, right? Last in, first out. So in case of array, what happens is, the element that goes last, I can get that out in the first, right? So it will be like, for example, so I have to make sure that my 3 should be at the top of the stack. So if I am iterating my for loop like in this direction. So my tree, if I'm going from this direction, my tree will be at the bottom of the stack, isn't it? It will be look like say 3, 2, and 4, isn't it? But I don't want this, isn't it? I want that my tree should be at the top of the stack. So how can I iterate? It should be like this. So in the fourth, for 4 should be at the bottom, and the 3 should be at the top. At that point of time, I can compare the 1 to my next element, isn't it? So let me remove these things. Yeah. So I have to iterate from right to left. Okay. So for example, I have taken the test case in test case that, for example, if it's 3, then my stack should look like 2 and 4, and then I have to compare that. Yeah, is there any nearest greater element? For example, I have to, so basically I have to store the right array into my stack, but in the reverse order. So I have to iterate my for loop from right to left. Okay, now we got that yeah, my for loop should be in the direction of right to left hand. Okay, so how can we approach? So for example, this is my test case. So storing my answer. To store my answer, I will be just making another array where it is my answer array. And there's my stack. So what I can do is, for example, every time I iterate in the left direction, I have to store my elements into the stack. So for 4, it will be, so for 4, is there any is there element to its right? Is there any nearest greater element to this right? No, right? So what it will contain will be just -1. So as you can see in the question as well, they have told that if there is no, yeah, if there is, find the next greater element in the array, print -1 if it doesn't exist. So if there is no right element, if there is no element, then just store simply -1. So I'm storing -1. Okay. So I got that for 4, I don't have any right array. So I'll be just simply storing -1 into my answer array. And I will be storing 4 in my stack. Okay, got it. Then my next element is 2. Okay. So what I can do is, so I have to every time check that if my stack dot top, so my 4, is it greater than 2? Yes, it is greater than 2, right? So what I have to do is I have to just store the stack dot top in my answer. So what will it be? It's 4, right? So in 2, the my next greater element will be 4, right? And I will be just storing simply 2 in my stack. Okay. So now it's time for 3. Okay. So is my stack dot top is greater than 3? It's not, right? So what I just have to simply do is just pop it out till I don't get my nearest greater element. So is my stack dot top is greater than my array of 5? No, right? So I will just simply pop it out, and what I will do is, yeah, I will just simply check again that is my tree. Okay, so now my stack dot top is greater than my array of 5, isn't it? So what I will just simply do, I'll just store my stack dot top into my answer array. Okay, I have stored and I will just simply store my tree to my stack in my stack, because every time in every iteration I'll be storing my values in the stack. So now it's time for 1. So now is it greater than, now is my stack dot top is greater than the array of 5? Yes, it is. So what I will just simply do, I'll just simply store my stack dot top into my answer array. So it is 3, and I will just simply store the 1 in my stack. Okay. So I have got the answer. but you can see that we have got the, because we have iterate the for loop from in the reverse direction, we got the answer in the reverse way, right? So if we just do tree, we just we have to reverse the answer, okay, so that we get the output. So let's check if my output is right or not. So 1 for 1, is my nearest greater next greater element is 3? Yes, it is 3. Then for 3, is 4 is my nearest greater element? Yes, my 4 is my nearest greater element. So I have stored 4. So for 2, is my nearest greater element 4? Yes, it is. So 4 is my answer array. So for 4, is my nearest greater element is -1? I mean, there is no element, isn't it? So it will be storing -1. Now, so let's see the second test case as well. So you will get the more clarity about it. So for example, it is 8, right? So what is my next greater element? Is it 11? So my output will be 11. Okay. So for 11, is my next greater element is 20. So okay, I got my 20. Okay. So for 1, is my next greater element is 20. Okay. So I got 20. Okay. Then for 20, is my, there is no next greater element from it. So what will be the output? It will be -1. So for 15, is my next greater element 19. Okay, I got 19. So for 19, is my next greater element is nothing, right? So what will it be the output? It is -1. Okay. So let's see how to implement this in this stack as well with the help of stack as well. So as you know, I'll be iterating from right to left direction, right? So you can say that, for example, in the first iteration, my 19 will be in this stack. Okay. And what will be the answer array? It will be -1, because in the 19 there's nothing, right? My stack is empty. So in that case, my -1 will be pushed into the answer array and 19 will be pushed into the stack. Okay. So for 15 is my, so for 15 I'll be comparing my stack dot top from 15 array of I. So is my stack dot top is greater than 15? Yeah, it is. So what I will do, I will just simply push the answer array, the stack dot top into my answer array. Okay, I have pushed there, and I will just simply push 15 into my stack. Okay, so for 20 is my, for 20 I'll be comparing my stack dot top. So is my stack dot top is greater than 20? No, right? So I'll be just simply popping it. Okay, for the next iteration, again I will just compare that, is my stack dot top is greater than 20? So it's not, right? So I will simply pop it up, and now my stack is empty. So what I will just simply do, I'll just simply push -1 into my answer array and 20 into my stack. Okay, got it. So for the next element, I will be comparing my 20 to my stack, to my array of I. So is my stack dot top is greater than 20? Yes, it is, right? So what I will be doing, I'll just simply doing stack dot top. I'll just simply push stack dot top into my answer array. Okay, I have just pushed 20 into my answer, and I will just simply push 1 into my stack. Okay. So for 11, I will be just comparing the stack dot top. Okay, is my stack dot top is greater than 11? No, right? So I will just simply pop it out. Okay. Then again, I will be just comparing that, is my 11, that is my stack dot top is greater than 11? No, right? It is greater. Okay. So what I will just simply do, I will just put stack dot top into my answer array. So okay, it will be 20. What I will just simply do, I'll just simply push 11 into my stack. Okay, so now I will just compare 8 to my 11. So my stack dot top, is my stack dot top is greater than 11? Stack dot top is greater than 8? Yes, right? So what I will just simply do, I will just push 11 into my answer array and stack dot top into my 8. 8 into my, I mean the array of I into my stack. Okay. So what I have got is my answer in the reverse way, right? So what I will just simply do, if I just reverse this, 11, reverse this array, 20, 20, minus 1, 19, minus 1. So I got this, I got my required output, right? So yeah, that is the dry run part. So I will be, so let's jump into the code. So now, as you can see, the code, I'm just taking the input in the top, and this is my code. So as I have discussed that we need two arrays, right? So here, as you can see, my answer array and my stack, isn't it? So my S will be stack and my V is my answer array. Okay. So what I have told you previously that I'll be iterating from right to left direction. So my reverse loop will be there. So at the initial position, when in my first yeah, I mean for the first element, what I'll be doing for 19 is my in the first case my stack dot length is 0, right? So what I have to simply do, I have to just push -1 into my array, into my answer array, and then I have to push, I have pushed -1 into the array, and at the last, at every iteration, I will be just pushing my array of I into my stack, right? So as you can see in the line number 37, I have just pushed array of I into my stack. Okay. So in the -1. So what I was checking that for example, this in my second iteration, my stack dot length is not 0, right? My stack dot length is I mean it is greater than 0. So what I will be just doing is that I will be comparing the stack dot top with my array of I, as I have discussed here as well. So what I will be just doing, I will be just comparing stack dot top into my to my array of I. So if my if it's greater, then I don't have to care about it, and I just have to simply push my top element into my answer array, right? As I have mentioned in the line number 22. So in the next condition, where if it is not, then I just have to pop it out at every iteration till I don't get my required number that is greater than my array of I. So what I will be just simply doing, I've just applied a while loop. Okay, wait. Yeah, I've just applied a while loop. Yeah, I've just applied a while loop and then pop it out till I'm getting my required number. So for example, during popping out at the end, I have I got my stack empty. So in this case, in I think one of the case you have saw that my stack got empty, right? So at that case, what I just have to do, so what my array is telling me that for this, for example, for this element, I don't have any greater element in my entire array. I mean in the entire right array. So you just have to do -1. And if I don't, I mean if my length is not 0, then definitely I will be getting my greater element at the top of the stack, right? So what I have to do, that let's simply put that value into my answer array, right? So after all these, you will be just getting the you will be just getting after all this, we have to just simply at the every iteration, I just have to push array of I into my stack. And as I have mentioned in the last thing as well, that I'll be getting, because I have iterated from right to left, I just have to reverse the array and I'll be just getting my output, right? So I just have to do the reverse function and then join it, because it will, by reversing, it will just give me array, and by joining it will be just join the, I mean just to remove the array, right? So yeah, I think if you submit this and it will complete it. Yeah. So, and I think there I have taken the test case from here. Is, I think this was the test case. Yeah, 19. So as you can see, for this, it is the first test case, and my output, yeah, my output is 11, 20, -1, -1, -1, -1, 19, and -1. So yeah, that's it from my side. So that's it from my side. So yeah.